And yeah, you can tell I'm live because I'm sitting here playing with my hair, trying to get it all uh, arranged so it doesn't look like I'm scaring the hell out of people. How you doing? Good morning. And as you can see here, I'm just bouncing around trying to get my chair adjusted. As you can see, it's bright. It is a bright sunny day today. It's low 50s right now. It's about 51. I actually checked before I got on. And we're only going to get up to about 65 today. It's real weird weather. The one thing that is consistent is it has been rainy and cloudy a lot. Yeah, and in fact, we're going to stay in the 50s with a couple of jumps into the 60s and a couple of dives into the 40s this coming week. And of course, Friday is First Friday in Lancaster. And they're forecasting rain. It's become kind of a joke with us at DDR that every time we do a First Friday, it rains. We should take a First Friday off and see if it doesn't rain. Yeah, it's kind of a joke. It's kind of an in joke. But I have done 3 First Fridays. 2 of them it rained like hell the entire time. Just like miserable as hell. I don't like it. It really cuts down on you getting ready to go out and do stuff. And this last First Friday, yeah, I was actually out with my teammate Lorraine Storm while it was raining. So let's see what happened this week. A lot of stuff. I only wrote 1 article this week. And that's mainly because one of the things I'd actually planned on doing, and I had told Rachel about this, was that I was going to write this actually 2-part article for my magazine, Critics and Monsters, or Monsters and Critics. Dyslexia kicks in. About who I thought was going to live or die in episode 3 of Game of Thrones, because right now, if you watch Game of Thrones and you watched episode 2, you know the army of the dead has reached Winterfell, and episode 3 is the Battle of Winterfell. It's going to be the longest episode they've ever aired. I think it's going to be like an hour and 24 minutes long. I mean, literally like almost a movie. And they have stated that the beginning of the episode starts the battle, the end of the episode ends the battle. So it is just going to be one gigantic battle from start to finish. And it's expected that a sizable portion of the cast is probably going to be killed off in this episode. People are really, if you watch Game of Thrones, if you've been watching any of the boards or the threads that fans have started, it really is going to be kind of a gut-churning moment tomorrow night where a lot of people are going to be like, who's going to live, who's going to die. And that was what I was going to write about. Unfortunately, everybody else who has an online magazine was pretty much writing the same thing. So I didn't write. And there were other things that kicked in that caused that also not to happen. But I quickly found out your original idea is usually not going to be that original. And everybody else had the same idea. Let's write about who we think is going to live or die. So unless you really have like a unique hook to bring in, I was kind of left out in the cold by that. I do want to try to get a couple of more articles out before the end of August, I almost said, which means I'll make a whole total of $70 for the month of April. Yeah. And I won't get paid on that till the end of May. So I'm hoping by if I generate enough articles during the month of May, I'll actually make about $300 by the end of April. I mean, by the end of May. Get it straight, Cass. And between that and my pension, that's almost my rent. Yeah, really. It really is almost my rent. Let's hope. Let's see if I can come up with more stuff. I should write about the fact that there is going to be an RPG, a role-playing game, a tabletop role-playing game for the Alien universe. I actually have one. A guy using the Fuzon rules long ago. I mean, like back in let's say the late 90s. He actually homebrewed an Alien RPG. I mean, it was pretty extensive too. I bought it off of him. And his was the concept for him was basically, since I'm just doing this on my own, using Fuzon rules, pay me what you think. And I gave him $40 and he about flipped. He was like, are you serious? I go, come on, I paid more for this for worse games, So he was really happy. Fuzon was one of those generic role-playing engines that you could construct any game around, and that's what he was doing. And now that's changed up. You have the hero system. The most popular, I'm talking role-playing geek stuff here right now. The most popular engine right now is the Fate system. A lot of people like it. Basically because it has a really interesting character generation setup. And the dice are like really easy. Because Fate dice are like, you're looking to go 2 or 3 or 4 above a certain level, or you might go 2 or 3 or 4 below a certain level. It's a simple system. And it's really powerful. It was actually used for the role-playing game Dysphoria, which I ran a couple of times. And I do mean a couple. Yeah, the people I was running it with, a couple of them were just not. They were not interested. So, but it was a real interesting system. I like it. I love role-playing stuff, as you can tell. So when Alien comes out, I'm probably going to jump on that, just like I'll probably jump on Altered Carbon when it comes out as well. I wrote an article about there's going to be an RPG for Altered Carbon as well. Yeah. So we'll see. I have a window frame over here rattling. It's driving me nuts. And I don't know what to do except punch it or something. But it's gotten to the point where the frame rattles because of the AC. So, yeah, I got to come up with some ideas this week for writing. And try to get some writing in when I'm not driving back and forth to Lancaster. I saw my physical therapist last Wednesday for the first time. And she gave me a bunch of exercises. Apparently, physical therapy these days consists of, here are a bunch of exercises you need to do every day. And so you should do them. And I got like 11 different things I got to do every day. It is. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing that. And I've got to go to Lancaster for physical therapy twice a week for the next 4 or 5 weeks. I've already got the next 3 weeks planned out. starting Monday, I will actually be in Lancaster. And I said it, yeah. Lancaster, not Lancaster. I will actually be in Lancaster 8 days in a row. It's 36 miles between my apartment and the rink. It's actually closer to about 45 miles to get to the hospital where I have to go for PT. So it's literally like when I was living in Indiana, it's like me driving to downtown Chicago. It really is, to go to this hospital, because downtown Chicago was 45 miles away from where I lived in Indiana. And when I'm driving down for practice, I can usually do like 2.5 trips to practice before my tank gets below a half a tank. And I'm one of those weird people that I don't like to wait until the needle is way down toward empty. Once I hit half a tank, I fill it up. And given what gas prices are right now, it's costing me about $22 to put half a tank of gas in my car. So if you're doing the math, in a week of practices, I'm really spending close to about $40 a week in gas. Going back and forth 8 days in a row, it's really going to end up running me over $80 in gas, pretty much alone. $80 in gas running back and forth because of practice. And then a couple of times when I actually have PT on the same day I have practice, which means I'm making 2 trips. There's going to be one day where I'm going to actually try to just stay down there and find something to do. I'm just going to take my gear with me and stay down there. Yeah. This is why my lease here is up, I believe, at the end of April. And I'm just considering moving down there. I really am. It's like, oh God, why? Why keep driving back and forth? Unless I win the lottery, it's getting to be expensive because everything I do now is in Lancaster. That's the thing. All my league events are in Lancaster. All my practices are in Lancaster. I live literally 40 miles away. So, yeah, it makes a lot more sense for me to move down there. And that's one of the things I'm anticipating that I can actually do this summer is move to Lancaster and deal with that shit. It'll be easier. I actually am beginning to like it down there a lot more. It really is a lot more fun. I will miss Harrisburg if that comes to be. I will miss it. But, yeah. I think it's about time for a change. It really is. I think my time here in Harrisburg is coming to an end. And I need to move on. I'm about ready to go over there and kick that rail, kick that frame. So yeah, but I got exercises, my PT. They said the muscle strain does not look that bad. It's actually in much better shape. I've gotten back to full workouts in practice. Couple of the things I didn't do was the first couple of nights I did practice. I was back for Monday and Wednesday nights, and I wasn't doing any jamming. I wasn't playing jammer. I actually would just bail out and go, no, I'm not going to jam. I don't want to run the risk. Yeah, but I am feeling better. I do get some muscle strain down there, but it's not like that stabbing muscle pull. It's more like I'm working the muscle and I can feel it. And then usually by early morning the next day, there's absolutely no pain. I might wake up in the morning still feeling it a little bit, but usually, like, by the time I finish breakfast and clean up and get all my other shit going, there's usually no pain. Like right now, I don't feel a thing. Last Monday, I had to do a 27.5, and I failed. I had 26 2/3 laps, which, according to our rules, that means I have to do it again. We have this interesting rule with our travel team practice. It's that if you were not on the floor for the previous practice, doesn't matter if you were at practice and signed in and said, I'm here for practice, but I'm not skating. If you're not on the floor, you got to do a 27.5 the very next practice. And if you don't do a 27.5, you have to do it again. You keep doing it until you get a 27.5. It's like, oh my God. So I just missed it. It was really my first 27.5 since I started doing travel team practice. It's been my first 27.5 in like 2 months. And then coming off of 2 weeks off skates from being injured. Like one of my teammates said, you just came back. And that's pretty good. 26 2/3 for having been off skates for a couple of weeks and not doing a 27.5 for like 2 months. You did pretty well. So she says, you'll get it next time. But I remember, my first night at travel team practice, and they called me out. They said, you have to do 27.5. And I remember standing on the line going, I am not doing this shit again. I'm going to get this thing. And I did. Right at the line, I got a 27.5. Right when the buzzer rang, it was like you were right at 27 laps on the line. So I got to do it again, except I won't be doing it this Monday because we're having practice, but we're not. It's actually going to be like a more relaxed practice where we're going to go over bout footage. We're going to talk about the away games and have snacks, kind of like commiserate, talk, because travel team season is winding down, and next Saturday will be our last home game of the travel team season. So there will only be one other game after that. The All-Stars actually have an away game 2 weeks later down in New York. So, and that will officially be the end of their season. The Blitz, the end of their season is going to be our home game here. So. And then we don't have anything else until September when we have the start of our home team season where we play 3 games. Yeah. And our June game got canceled because hold on. I'm gonna have to do something about that rattling. Yeah. Our we had a game that we were going to play in June in West Virginia, and it got canceled because the team scheduled the bout date, and then the rink where they play decided, hey, did we forget to tell you? We're actually going to shut down the rink that starting that week. So we can resurface the floor. And they were like, no, you didn't tell us this, or else we wouldn't have scheduled the game then. So there was a lot of scrambling around, and they were trying to see if they could find another venue, and none of the venues in the area were available. So they contacted us and said, we're really sorry, but we got to cancel the bout. So we canceled our bout, and both the All-Stars and the Blitz were going to travel to West Virginia, and I probably would have been with that group. I was like, oh, I wanted to go. because we were going to actually spend the night because of how far we were going to have to travel. It was in, hold on, I'm going to bring up the map here. I know, should look at this earlier. Let me see where it's at. We were actually going to play, where's West Virginia? In Morgantown, West Virginia, which was about 3.5 hours away. It's actually almost directly due south of Pittsburgh. And so we were going to travel over there, and it had already been figured out. It was going to take us about 3.5 hours to get there. I was looking forward to that. I really was. I wanted to go play in Morgantown, West Virginia so bad. I was looking forward to that because I went on an overnight trip once. My first bout was an overnight trip with Hart to Youngstown, Ohio, and spent the night. My first time, I spent the night with a coach, a ref, and one of my teammates. Coach, a ref, and a teammate. You know, that was an interesting night. That was where I learned. The referee who shared the bed with me said I was actually swearing in my sleep. She said there was one point where I was like, she said I was laying there and all of a sudden I go, shit, like that. And then she said, like a little while later, she heard me go, "You motherfucker." She said, "You were talking in your sleep, but you were swearing." I was like, okay. One of these days, I need to videotape myself when I'm taking a nap. Videotape myself and see if I mumble in my sleep. It should be interesting. I tried actually doing it one night, videotaping myself, and then I realized you can't see a goddamn thing. So, bailed on that shit. But yeah, I was looking forward to that. So yeah, we've already announced we're getting ready for summer break because they resurface our floor during the month of July, and we actually go to Reading, which is about an hour away for me to practice. I'm going to check on that. See, how many nights we're going to be at practice in Reading. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm back to practice. I can't even remember what I did Monday night, except for a 27.5. I can't remember much of anything. I really can't. It's just kind of semi fucked up that I can't remember a lot of the drills. And I think that's because Wednesday night was a scrimmage. It was my first scrimmage in 3 weeks. And it was bad. Yeah. Like I said, this week has been kind of a weird week for me because Tuesday night actually started the anniversary of my suspension / hospitalization when I went into the mental hospital for 8 days. And today would basically be day 4 of day 8 when I woke up. Would have been my first Friday. Getting ready for the weekend incarcerated. So that's been on my mind a lot, especially Wednesday, because like I said, that was the anniversary. And Wednesday was a scrimmage. First one back in like 3 weeks. First scrimmage back after being off skates for 2 weeks. And I did not do well. The first time I got out there, I was in the first jam. I had the first penalty of the scrimmage like 10 seconds in. No shit. I did, what was it, a forearm, I believe. It just seemed like I could not get my shit together. And I played anchor at one point and completely blew it. And I played pivot on the outside and completely blew it. I just could not get my shit together. So that's weighing on my mind while I'm doing this, because it's like, you got to get it together. You're not doing this shit. You're not doing your job, is what was going through my head. And then at halftime, they split us up and they said, everybody who's playing this weekend with the Blitz over here, all of you who are not playing this weekend, you're going to go over here and you're going to play against the Blitz. And I had to go over to the everyone else who isn't playing side. And emotionally, it was tearing me up. It really was. That's the first time since being put on the Blitz I've been separated from the Blitz. And like I said, it was tearing me up. I even said at one point, one of my teammates, she says, "What's wrong? You look, so you look like something's wrong." And I said, "I really want to be down there so bad, and I can't be." And she was like, "Hey, don't worry. My first season, I never got to play." She says, "My first season on the travel team, I never got to play. I just was on the bench the entire time." So she said, even though she was on the bench, she never played. She said, "I just watched everybody else play." She goes, "It happens." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." But it was separation. It was like, now I got to play against my team. And it hurt. And I think I got a little... something came out because I got a little aggressive. One of my teammates from the Blitz, actually, she threw some offense at me, and I laid a shoulder hit into her and just knocked her on her ass. I mean, I looked over and she had this look on her face like, holy shit, I didn't see that. And then I chased after a couple of jammers, and there was one I even told her, I said, when I came after you, you should have seen the look on your face. It's like, and she said, "Well, I was just looking to see where you were at because I was waiting to get your point," which meant her hips got past mine. But I said, "Yeah, your eyes widened appreciably when you saw me coming at you." Like, whoa. I had to have it like 3 times where I was just getting ready to hit the jammer. And they called it off at the last second, so I had to like, swerve out of the way to keep from getting nailed with a late hit. I had 3 penalties total. One was like right at the end of the game where I'm skating off the track and I hear somebody going, "No me, like that. They go, "You got to go to the penalty box." I was like, "What?" They go, "You got to go to the penalty box. You just had a penalty." And I was like, "Okay." And I skate to the penalty box and I sit down. And it was funny because the NSO goes, "Why are you here?" I said, "Apparently I got a penalty." And she says, "Oh, you did?" "Oh, yeah." So like, okay. Yeah, and come to find out, the person who called the penalty called it off real softly. And they even told me, they said, she usually doesn't call off penalties, so it's kind of hard to hear her. And I said, I never heard anything. And she goes, yeah, I know. But I didn't want you to get into trouble, because if you had not sat down in the penalty box, they would have called it insubordination on you. And I was like, okay, thanks. But it was like, really, I was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, I did not hear it. I think that's the first time I've ever had a penalty called on me and I've not heard it. And part of it was, it happened right as the whistle was blowing. We had a couple of times like that, but there was also a time I was out there with, it was like me, Dash. I know Deadpool was out there, and we threw up against a wall against Venom. And at one point, she's trying to get between me and Dash. I hear her going, "Oh God," like that. Yeah. Welcome to hell, Venom. Population U. Yeah, but afterwards, I was just like really closed mouth, tight lip. Got out to the car, and I cut loose. I started crying. I cried for about 5 minutes straight, and then went home, cleaned up, cried, got out of the tub, cried. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard. And I was still feeling depressed. I mean, depression had been dogging me all week. And it just like all caught up with me at once. So it was still kind of dogging me a little bit Thursday. I was alternating between just laying around going, I don't feel like doing anything, to getting up and trying to get myself motivated. And finally, I was talking to my friend Lynette. And I said, I'm going to go into practice tonight. I said, I do not want to sit in the apartment this evening and just lay there and watch TV. I said, I need to get up. I need to get moving. I know it's going to be a light practice tonight. So I need to go out there and actually feel like I'm not a complete failure. And I did. I went out and we did practice, and it was a good practice. I played Jammer. And I was getting kind of aggressive. I was feeling better, so I was getting a little aggressive. And I'm not a great jammer. I'm not a jukey jammer, so I'm a pusher jammer. And at one point, I just, a couple of times, was pushing like crazy. And I actually got into a point where the first time I was doing this massive push, and I pushed both Punk and Dash were walling against me, and I was pushing. And I think I actually heard like Punk's skates, the wheels were sliding on the floor, which these two, they're not easy to push. And I was pushing them. It took time, but I'd have gotten a, no pack situation with them. I mean, it was killing me. It was hard. And then another time I did the same thing. I pushed Dash, and I even heard her like go oof at one point because I was like pushing on her real hard. There was something else that happened when I was jamming. I got knocked out of bounds twice. Going up in one drill, I got knocked out of bounds. And on the second time, I skated back, and I just cut in real fast because I saw that there was an opening on the inside, and I cut in real sharp and took off, which is something I've actually done before. And the hole was wide open, and I got through. And Dash was coming back at me, and it looked to me like she kind of leaned out trying to get into me because I was moving at a pretty good pace. I just put my shoulder in like this, and I hit her. And I kept going. It did. It was just like I felt the impact, and I kept going. And all of a sudden I hear a couple of like, ooh, like that behind me. And I skate back around because the jammers were setting up on the other side of the track. And Ray Ray, Acid Rain, we call her Ray Ray. She's looking at me as I skate up and she goes, way to go, know me. I was like, what? Did I knock Dash on her ass? What happened? And nobody would say anything. I said, all I said was, I just heard a bunch of like, ooh, like that. So I figured, I must have laid a good hit on Dash. I mean, I didn't go down. So it must have been. Yeah, I was actually feeling pretty good after that. I told Lynette when I got home, I said, it was a good practice. I felt good. And it felt like I felt vindicated. I was doing a couple of things that I was really uncomfortable doing. I had Pixel telling me, you got great aggression as a jammer. However, you got to watch the back blocks. You got to watch the forearms. You're doing it way too much. She said, the one bit of advice she gave me, she said, it's great that you're aggressive, but if you're in the penalty box, it doesn't matter. And she's right. If I go in real hot and I back block somebody, I'm going to the penalty box. So it doesn't matter how aggressive I am. I'm screwing it up. So she's actually like telling me, watch your back. She kept telling me all night, watch your back blocks. She says, you really got to watch your back blocks. But she did tell me, she says, you got great aggression. Just, you got to learn how to do it. She says, tone the aggression down and practice the hitting, practice getting in there. She says, once you've got that down to where you're not doing forearms, where you're not doing back blocks, then start upping your aggression. And she does this with me all the time. It's really kind of cool that she'll tell me this. I mean, she's telling me this because you don't want to go in and back block the fuck out of somebody and hurt them. Just like you don't want them back blocking the shit out of you and hurting you. So I'm learning. I don't play jammer enough. And since I'd like to be a pivot, I really do need to do this. I even said that. That's one of the things I want to learn is I want to learn how to be a better jammer because I would like to play pivot sometime. And as Lacey Knight once said, if you want to be a pivot, you got to play. You got to train to be a jammer. But yeah, to be told, your aggression is good, but your aggression doesn't mean anything if you're sitting in the penalty box. So, got to work on that. I got to work on how to get in there and get that, not do a back block. And it's kind of difficult with me because I'm so big. But so is Deadpool. Deadpool's really big too. She's fast. She can move real quick. So, so this is tomorrow. Blitz is going to be at Hard. Going to be at Olympic. It's like I told everybody. Well, not everybody. I told a couple of teammates. I said, I'll see you guys at 4:30. I go, it's only going to take me about 10 minutes to get to the rink. So I'll probably be there before you guys. I said, yeah, it's not far from me. I said, it's only a 10-minute drive for me. So I'm going to run the merchandising table. I will be there in uniform. I will have my jersey on because I can, because I am a teammate, and I will be wearing my jersey. Would I rather be playing? Yes, I would rather be playing. Am I upset because I'm not playing? I have been. Emotionally this week, I tried not to let it bother me, and it did. I forgot the one rule, leave it on the track. I couldn't leave it on the track. It got to me. Now that we're only like about 36 hours away from playing, I've pretty much like put it aside. This is it. You're not getting out on the track. It's not going to happen. So just go in, do your job, which is run merch, and then be done. When the bout's over, that's it. It's over. You did not get your shot. Move on. I'm probably going to go to the after party. Not for long, but just to go in and have pizza and a drink and say hi to some people. It'll probably feel a little weird because I'll be there in my jersey that is not green. But yeah, don't let it get weird. This is what I am. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I play for. And I'm kind of hoping that I get a little closure out of this. It's another thing that I spoke with Lynette about. And she said it does sound like you need some kind of closure. Because of everything that happened leading up to getting suspended and then leaving the team and then going to DDR. She said it does sound like you need some kind of closure. And I'm hoping this does it this weekend. I hope I can finally just put this shit behind me. I really do need to do that. It's hard for me to do. There was one thing when I first got into therapy. The therapist did ask me, do you hang on to stuff that happened like years and years and years ago? And I said, yeah. And this was in my early 50s when I first started therapy. I said, there was, I still hang on to shit from high school. I said, there's things that I'll start sitting there going over in my head about stuff that happened to me in high school. And she says, do you ever run these scenarios in your head where, if it had happened that, you'd want it to happen that way? And I said, yeah, I do that. And she goes, why? She said, that's the worst thing in the world to do, is to hang on to something like that over which you have absolutely no control. She says, it's already happened. And you're talking about an event now that happened 40 years ago. And you're still hanging on to it. She said, at some point, you have to walk away. At some point, you have to just shut it down and say, it's done. I can't do it anymore. There's nothing I can do to solve this problem. And for a while now, I've actually been able to do that. If something happened to me, I just shut it down, let it go. But yeah, this last thing, I think it was real traumatic for me in the sense that emotionally and mentally, I was in not the best place in the world. I haven't been doing therapy. So it's kind of hard for me to put it aside. And like I said, I'm kind of hoping going in there and representing my team in a place that I used to go to all the time will kind of give me some closure. Help me just put away the past. It's not the way I wanted to put the past away, but I'll take it. I will. Because it sucks hanging on to the past. It sucks because you can't change the past. And the thing of it is, I did change after that moment. I really did. That that was a kick in the ass to me. And it got me to do something that I had never considered before. And I think a reason for it was, up to that point, I had gotten really complacent about my place on my former league. And I just didn't feel like I was pushing myself. I didn't feel the need to push myself. And it was pretty obvious. It was pretty evident. One of my teammates on Hard at that time had even made the comment, I think the reason why you've not gotten your 27.5 is you just don't want it bad enough. And one of the things I said to her is, like, in one of my last practices, I actually went up to her and I said, you know what, you're right. I didn't want it bad enough. I just wanted you to know you were correct. And she was kind of shocked when I told her that. She was like, oh, okay. And then, after that, it wasn't long after I told her that I actually left the team and went down to Dutchland and started over. And in starting over, I had a completely different environment. I had a completely different outlook. I had a completely different kind of motivation. It was like, you are getting a second chance, essentially. You're being given a second chance. You took a second chance. I didn't have to. I could have just easily sat in my apartment here and moped. If I had, I likely would have never gotten back in the Derby. I've even said, given the stuff that was happening at the end of last year, there's a very good likelihood I probably would have went off my balcony at some point. But I started over, and it gave me that push to want it bad enough. Like I've detailed, when I got my first 27.5, I had actually been psyching myself up because that morning in December 9, when I went down, I had woke up crying because of a bad dream. And it was a bad dream that was related to Derby. And on my drive into Lancaster, I kept telling myself aloud, you're not going to let your depression take hold today. You are not going to let it rule you. And after breakfast, I was chanting the mantra, today could be the day you get your 27.5. Today could be the day. Today could be the day. And I just remember I felt really good. I felt energetic. I had a lot of energy. I had my protein. This is Sunday morning early. And I sat up and I said, I'm going to chase one of my teammates down. I had chased her down the last 27.5 and actually passed her. And I said, I'm going to chase her down. I'm going to pace her because I know she can get a 27.5. And I'm going to do it. And I did. I actually did it. That was the day I did it. I got 27.5 laps. And she got 27 because she said, I caught her after like 8 laps. And she even told me later that it freaked her out when she realized I was right behind her, that I covered a half a lap in 8 laps. And she was starting to wonder if she was going fast enough. And I told her, no, I was kicking it in the ass to catch you. Yeah, I was on pace for 28 laps when they called halfway. I haven't gotten close to 27.5 laps. One of my 27.5s was about 27 and a third, and then the other 27.5 was right at the line. So I'm about due to like get another 27.5, something like that. See if I can push it out a little bit more. But yeah, I wanted it bad that day. And when I did my scrimmage assessment, I wanted it bad because that would have meant I could scrimmage. I could do a scrimmage at other leagues. I could use my Derby name. But it also meant I had the possibility of trying out for the travel team. And I did. I made the cut off to try out for the travel team. And I did. I made it. It was all a case of you're being pushed at DDR, or like my coach Brawlis said, you're always going to be tested here. It's always a test. Are you good enough to get on the team? Are you good enough to get out and play? Are you good enough to get more playing time? How do you prove to your coaching that you get out there and you do more playing? I mean, we were supposed to tell coaching officially we were going to try out for the travel team, and I went to Dash. I said, since you're a coach, I am officially giving you notice I will be here on Monday for travel team practice. She goes, oh, we already know that. She's like, we got your name down on the list already. We know you're going out. But, yeah, when I made that move, I changed my environment. I got a different mindset, and I really wanted stuff badly. And now I'm at the point where I badly want to play, and I badly want to be on the home team, and I badly want to be back on the Blitz next year. Those are the things I want. And I will be playing on the 4th. I'm on the roster. I'm on the bench. I will be playing on the 4th. I've been taking care of myself. I realized, I think it was yesterday, where I screwed up in my scrimmage on Wednesday night. And it was, I went back on this bad habit of not playing my position. I even got called out on it by one point by Peach when I was playing pivot and I was playing the outside. And at one point, I jumped into the middle of the fray to try to help block the jammer, which meant I left like lane 4 wide the fuck open. And Peach, she did call me out. She says, don't leave your position. Don't ever leave your position when you're out on the track. And then, later she said, I didn't mean for it to sound that angry. She says, it's just the way I am. And I said, I didn't take it offensively. Don't worry. I said, I did not take it the wrong way. And I didn't, because I knew what she was saying. I said, I understand. Things get heated out there. And I go, I know how you are when you come off the track. So I don't take any offense in it. And, you were right. I screwed up. And that was the problem. I wasn't playing my position. When I was playing anchor, I wasn't playing my position. I was trying to block. I was trying to actively block as anchor. You don't do that. And it was something that when I was playing in the second half, I did a hell of a lot more of, okay, just play your position. And that really did. It messed up. So that's the thing I'm working on now is when I get out, I'll just be like, play your position. Don't jump to the middle of the track. Play your position. Cover your area. If you're playing middle, you're moving back and forth. If you're playing the lines, you stay on the lines. If the jammer's over in lane 1 and 2, you don't jump over there trying to hit her out unless you're in a position where they got her like what they call the taco. They're wrapped around her. You can slide over and hit her out. But for the most part, you stay in your position and don't move. And I need to get back to learning how to anchor properly because I've been screwing that up because I get this jackrabbit sensation of I want to get in there and block. Well, if you're going to get in there and block, don't play anchor. Your job is to tell the blockers where the jammer is, Your job is not to get in there and be the blocker. Play blocker then if you're going to do that. Play a part of the wall. So it's knowing what I'm supposed to do so that when I play my last travel team game next Saturday, I won't screw up. I hope I won't screw up. Don't want to screw up in front of everyone. So, and that will be it. And then Next game won't be until September, but I know there are some teams in the area that are going to have open scrimmages, and I probably will try to attend those. We'll see. I'll try to get in some playing time. But one of my teammates already told me. She says, you will. She even said this. She goes, when I said, I was taking time off to heal up and stuff like that, she said, you will get on the home team and you will get some experience and you will be ready for the Blitz in 2020. And I felt good about that. Because, like I've said before, there are players on my team and in my league who have said stuff to me. And it's like, what are you seeing that I don't see? Really? What you're describing, I don't see. And that's because you don't. You're too busy criticizing yourself. You're too busy being your own worst critic. So you don't see the good shit that you're doing. And that's one of the things that I like when Dash had practice on Thursday night. She says, let's go down the line, and I want to hear one good thing you did tonight, one bad thing you did tonight. And it does. It gives you the opportunity to say, this is something I really did that I thought I was doing good. And this is something that I thought I was really bad that I need to work on. And, of course, in my case, my bad stuff was I need to stop back blocking as a jammer. I said, I really want to learn how to be a better jammer. So I need to learn how to do that. And I need to stop doing some of the bad things I'm doing. So get some closure, get some playing time. Like I said, next week at this time, I'll be talking about how it's my last game and I'm going to end up the travel team season on the track with my team. The way I started the travel team season, I will have only been in 2 games, the first and the last game, but I can still joke that I was in 4 programs if I played 2 games. I will play home team. I know I'll get out there and get some playing time with the home team. And there are going to be open scrimmages that I'll be able to get into. In fact, we've got a couple of scrimmages coming up in May, so. Yeah. And who knows? I think after tomorrow, I'll truly have some closure. Be able to put everything behind me. At least I hope so. I need to, because it's bullshit not getting closure. The other thing, too, is next week when I do this video, I won't be 61 anymore. Yeah, next Friday is my 62nd birthday. Those birthdays, they're creeping up. And, of course, last year at this time, the big issue with my birthday was 61 was going to be my last birthday. So I made it 62. That's an accomplishment. That should be a bit of closure on what happened last year at this time. That I actually made it to another birthday. So, you want to shoot me a couple of bucks on my coffee for a birthday gift? I will be forever grateful. I always am. Whenever anybody helps me out financially, I always am grateful. If you are watching this video and you happen to be in Lancaster after, I think it's 8 p.m. I have a league. The first Friday, I think I'm working the league until 8 p.m. And after that, I'm going to go grab a bite and have one drink. one small drink. I'm not going to have one drink, gigantic yard of beer. No, because I have a bout the next day. And so it's going to be like, I'm just going to have one small, like a small cognac or even maybe just like a shot of something just to say I had a birthday drink. And then I will play the last bout of the travel team season at the age of 62, the day after my 62nd birthday. Still, like I say, I think I'm unofficially, I'm the oldest rookie in WFDA. So we'll go with that. But yeah, played my first bout at the age of 62. I will have played in 2 bouts at 61 and 1 bout at 62. And a lot more bouts to come. I hope at least 4 more. Let's see. But the good news is I am playing. And the even better news is I'm around to play. Yeah. That's some closure on last year. That I'm actually still here. All right. Boy, I rambled on this shit quite a lot. So, yeah. Hope April was good to you. And I'll see you May 4th. Next week. Next Saturday. See you then. It's going to be fun. We start getting into May, 5th month of the year. Damn. The year is coming up on being half over already. That's pretty cool. All right. I will see you then. Bye.